just coming up to 9 o'clock.
It's a soundtrack of my youth, that. Just took me right back. Now, we've all seen them. Sites where building work has come to a halt because of the recession.
There are hundreds of derelict spaces across Britain, but some developers now turning them into parks or gardens, allotments and sports facilities while they wait for the economy to improve.
Bradford, a city of grand Victorian architecture, and this. The Hole. Demolition work on this huge swathe of the city centre began more than 5 years ago. Then, as the credit crunch struck, everything stopped.
This is just an eyesore, isn't it? It's just a mess, and it ain't helping Bradford to be up and coming, is it?
It's terrible. Very, very dispiriting. Makes you quite unhappy.
Those angry at the lack of progress have had plenty of time to come up with some very sophisticated graffiti. Money may be tight, but many wonder if something could be done while they wait for the long-delayed shopping centre.
We could do with more green spaces. Let's have a park with some trees and a play area.
And it's not just Bradford. The recession has left Britain strewn with empty sites, but here in Leeds, they're trying to find a way to make use of them. So what can be done with these sites? Well, this developer has decided allotments are a good temporary solution, so no need for security guards. All they need here is a scarecrow.
We got the email that came around the office and it said urban gardens, would you like an urban garden? First of all I thought, what's an urban garden? Then found out it was an allotment, and I think we were probably the first company to actually bag a plot.
And the allotments are only part of what has been done here at Wellington Place, an award-winning scheme to make the city seem less derelict.
We've created a complete green space here, which was just purely rubble. We've put 36,000 bees there. We've created 200 saplings in the space over there. We've installed a boulevard that takes you from the tower through towards the station, and we've put a football pitch in there.
And down the road they were hoping to build this, and instead they've created this, Wonderwood, a green space.
We had Opera North down here with an ice cream van selling ice creams in the summer. We've had a jazz marathon, countless things really.
And this could have been just a derelict site in the city?
Well, it was. I mean, that's what it was, precisely, with nothing happening at all.
Meanwhile, on London's Oxford Street, it's dinosaurs instead of shops and offices. In the shadow of the BT Tower, it's football pitches. This firm is keen to find other similar sites. But these alternatives to rubble-strewn holes are all just temporary. The sport, gardening and greenery will all go when the economy picks up. David Sillito, BBC News, Bradford.
Well, watching that with interest is Monty Don.
Yeah.
Here to talk about woodcraft and other things. But what do you think about that whole...
Well, I think the idea of making gardens and allotments in inner city spaces, lost spaces, I remember someone describing to me, is not just fantastic now, it's something we should plan for the future. You know, it's crazy that we're building houses without gardens or allotments. Apart from anything else, we're going to need it. But that's another story. We are going to need to feed ourselves. We need to do it ourselves.
Yeah. Well, let's hope some of those urban spaces stay, the parks and the sports facilities, because they should. We're going to talk to you about your new series, which is about helping to preserve the crafts, really, in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah, it's both sort of looking at them and telling people about them, and also keeping them alive, and also realising that you can learn to do things yourself. We live in a society that is completely dependent on somebody else, but we don't know who it is. Yes. And this is all about doing things yourself. Right.
Well, while we warm up our whittling knives, let's take a last quick look at what's happening where you are. Back in a minute.
Can you make a spatula out of wood like they make?